guys, if this is your first time to my channel, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Emily and today I am bringing you another spooky Sunday. So the hair situation here, I was going for the J-Lo hair look where she does the kind of half up little cute pony thing. I mean, personally for me, I usually call that the Shih Tzu look because to me it looks like one of those cute little dogs that has the little bow in their hair. I believe those are the Shih Tzus. I could be totally wrong right now and spreading false information. Nonetheless, I was going for that look and instead I end up with these little antenna looking things on my head. So instead of looking like a cute little Shih Tzu dog with a cute little bow or looking like freaking goddess J-Lo, I look like a praying mantis. That's just how it's gonna be, I guess, so please ignore the praying mantis hair. I wanted to try something different, and apparently trying new things is not my forte. But without further ado, I have a very, very exciting spooky Sunday for you guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and just get this started off here with a photograph. Now, does this man look familiar to you? Because he looks pretty damn familiar to me. What about this guy? What are we thinking about him? What would he look like without his mustache? Because he has a very familiar face to me. Now, did you think that was Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon? Because I'm 100% sure that that is Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon. But apparently it's not. And there are so many photos on the internet of people who look exactly like celebrities, but apparently are from the 1800s and even older than that. There are photos all over the internet of celebrities that apparently are in a different time period, or people that just happen to be exact doppelgangers of so many different celebrities throughout time. And this goes back pretty freaking far. I believe the farthest this goes back is to the 1500s. So we're not talking like 1929 here. We're talking literal centuries that these people seem to have just gone back in time, or maybe it's a doppelganger, maybe it's a long lost twin. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So time travel has fascinated so many people, myself included, since essentially the beginning of us being able to understand what time travel is. And people have been trying to make it a thing for a very long time, but everything has been very hush-hush, and to be honest, if time travel exists, we will not know about it probably for a very long time. But there have been numerous reports of people being seen in Charlie Chaplin movies from the 1920s, having cell phones. There have been numerous reports of people seeming to have lost hours of time and end up in a completely different area than they remember being in, and coincidentally, it's hours after they remember last being somewhere. So time travel is not a new concept. We've had so many encounters with people who claim that they are time travelers. One very famous one is John Titor, and that's kind of debatable, and that's not for this video, but if you know who John Titor is, then I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and we'll discuss that another time, so if you don't, just hang tight. But there have been so many accounts of time travel. Supposedly, they have been doing it in the military. This is all speculation though, so who really knows what's going on the opposite side of Area 51 and all of these secret military bases. But what the heck does this have to do with celebrities time traveling? Well, I'm going to be taking you through many different photographs of people from different time periods that look like some very familiar faces. So let's go ahead and get started with the first man that I showed you guys here today, and that is the Justin Timberlake lookalike. Now, as you can see, this looks like the same exact freaking person. This is not someone who kind of looks like Justin Timberlake, but might just be a lookalike. No, this literally looks exactly like Justin Timberlake, like perfectly like him. They have the same exact facial features as him, like down to a T. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird if you ask me, but this photo was supposedly taken in the 1800s, so that is not Justin Timberlake, although it truly does look like him. Next up is Jimmy Fallon. As you can see, the man with the mustache is not actually Jimmy Fallon, although he bears a very striking resemblance to the man. Then we have Johnny Depp, and to me this one is freaking uncanny. That's literally Johnny Depp. I don't care what anyone says. That's Johnny Depp, okay? That looks exactly like him, and that photograph was taken before Johnny Depp was even born. Moving on, we have John Travolta. Now, this one was a little confusing for me at first because the photo of the man who supposedly is or looks like John Travolta is a little bit blurry, but upon me zooming in and really trying to compare details and facial features, this dude has the same exact facial features, like down to a T, as John Travolta. So, it's kind of weird. This one is one of my personal favorites. Dude, that is Eddie Murphy. Like, you cannot tell me that is not Eddie Murphy. He's literally looking into the camera, super smug, knowing what he's doing, knowing he's getting this picture taken in the 1800s, and he's just like, yeah, it's me, Eddie Murphy. What are you gonna do about it? That's literally him. You can't tell me otherwise. I won't believe you. And whenever I think about Eddie Murphy, I get this scene from The Office stuck in my head. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The call from Eddie Murphy?
Hello?
Shrek, I'm a donkey, Shrek!
I'm just kidding. It's me. Hello, Rye.
Yeah, that scene. I actually quote that way more often than I would like to admit. And I just admitted it on camera, so now everyone knows my deep, dark secrets. So next up we have literally 2 photos of Leonardo DiCaprio, except one of them is not Leonardo DiCaprio at all, and she's not even a man. She's a woman named Judy Ziegler. So, you mean to tell me that that's not Leonardo DiCaprio? Because that looks just like Leonardo DiCaprio. But, alright, I'll take your word for it if you say it's not. Here we have Andy Samberg and Daniel Radcliffe. This one's weird to me because it's both of them. And supposedly this photo was taken a long time ago, but that looks just like Andy Samberg. So if this one is fake, please someone let me know, because I haven't found any evidence to say that it's fake, but it's the internet, so people could just be lying. The other ones that I've shown you guys so far, I 100% believe is probably them or maybe a relative, maybe. But this one to me just looks too good to be true because it's both of them together in a different time period and then both of them together nowadays. You see what I'm saying? Is this fake? If it's not, my mind is completely blown. And here we have the oh so famous I See Dead People man himself, Bruce Willis. And apparently Bruce Willis had a role as a sailor at one point because here he is dressed up as a sailor. Although this photo was taken in the 1800s, so is that really possible? Here we have Conan O'Brien and Marshall Harvey Twitchell. Strange and uncanny resemblance. And now we have the oh so infamous and memed Mr. Nicolas Cage. And this is one of the main photos that you'll see if you Google time traveling celebrities. This is always one of the first photos to come up because that literally looks exactly like Nicolas Cage. And it's not like Nicolas Cage has a very kind of basic, normal, average face. Some people just have a pretty recognizable face. And Nicolas Cage does not have one of those recognizable faces. He doesn't look like anyone else in the world to me. I can't even personally think of anyone who looks even remotely close to him. So the fact that this dude from the 1800s looks exactly like Nicolas Cage, and knowing Nicolas Cage's weird-ass personality and his desire for kind of fame and attention, is it really that unlikely that he would be someone who would time travel? I don't know. Next up, we have Matthew McConaughey. And this man truly does look just like Matthew McConaughey. Now, he does look a little bit different just because of the facial hair and whatnot, but when it comes down to the actual face shape itself and the nose and the eyes, it literally is a splitting image of Matthew McConaughey. If I could go back in time, I would ask this man to say one simple phrase to me that would prove to me whether or not this is Matthew McConaughey or not.
All right.
So here we have Jack Black and Mr. Paul Revere, and if that name sounds familiar, he is the man who ran through the village yelling, "The British are coming! The British are coming!" And fun fact about Paul Revere, he actually was the first dentist to ever create the gold crown. So we learn new things every day. But no, for real, Paul Revere looks like a splitting freaking image of Jack Black. And kind of same thing with Jack Black as with Nicolas Cage. It's not like there's a bunch of dudes out in the world that look exactly like Jack Black. Jack Black has a very unique look, and Paul Revere looks literally exactly like him. Here we have a twin of Peter Dinklage. Now we have Queen Latifah and a very beautiful looking lady in black and white, but literally that's just Queen Latifah in black and white, although supposedly it's not. And now we reach the most popular of the time traveling conspiracy, if you will, and that is Keanu Reeves. Now, as you can see, Keanu Reeves has been seen throughout history in completely different time periods. He was originally seen in the 1500s, and then we see him again in the 1800s, and then we see him in our time period, and that man has looked the same since the 90s. Literally, it has been like 25 years and that man doesn't look like he's aged a day. It's honestly so bizarre and strange and just completely racks my mind like no other. The fact that there's so many celebrities that have these older doppelgangers from the 1800s and even sometimes the 1500s in Keanu Reeves' case is just so strange to me. It wouldn't even be that weird because there's probably only so many faces in the universe, and I'm sure that they get recycled every now and then by whoever or whatever the heck is creating us people down here. But the fact that there is so many of them is so bizarre, and there was actually quite a bit more than I decided to include in this video because I wanted to just include the ones that I feel like look the most like the celebrity. So why the heck would a Hollywood actor want to even time travel in the first place? How is that even possible? Well, theoretically speaking, and according to a bunch of theories on the internet, supposedly, if this technology is available, people could probably use it and utilize it for more than just military reasons. Supposedly, this has been going on for a while, so I'm sure that they have some sort of recreational use of it, if you will, if it actually has existed for a while and does exist in our day and age. But this would be a very, very sheltered project if this was actually a thing, and this would probably be really sought after and very prestigious, and you would probably have to have a pretty penny to be able to utilize this technology. So who do we think of in the world that has a bunch of money that they can just abundantly spend on whatever the heck they want and live super lavishly? Yeah, Hollywood actors, literally some of the most rich people on this planet. So it would make sense that if this technology is available and is to be used for recreational reasons and for fun, if you will, that the people with the most money would probably pay to be able to experience this. And I know that actors probably get really bored with their lives. It may seem like they have a bunch of good things going for them, and they do, but I mean, you can only really have so much before you get bored, and I'm sure that these actors have had so much success and are able to buy whatever the heck they want, that if this is available, why the heck wouldn't they want to do that? It's something new, it's something other people can't do. It would be something that is extremely thrilling, so I could definitely see someone like Jack Black or Nicolas Cage and definitely Keanu Reeves wanting to access this and possibly even doing it. This is all just speculation and this is all just theories off of the World Wide Web, but I think that it's plausible. I definitely think that if this did exist, I think actors would be some of the people to go back in time because they would have the money and the resources and the connections to the people who would run a program like this. So the next thing I'm going to talk about doesn't really have to do with the time travel so much as it has to do with possible cloning or something along the lines of that. Just hang tight. I know I sound insane, but hang tight. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a bunch of photographs of celebrities that look exactly like other celebrities that are both still living to this day. So let's go ahead and get started with Daniel Radcliffe and Elijah Wood. Now this is a comparison that's made quite often. I think I drew this conclusion when I was super little and watched both the movies. And let's face it, both of the actors are both pretty short, they both have blue eyes, they both have dark hair, but their facial features aren't super similar, but they are kind of reminiscent of each other. Another reason why they seem so similar is because both of these men played the main hero in two extremely popular kind of sci-fi fantasy movies and stories. So they are just known for being that kind of character, and they also do kind of look alike and have some similarities, but I do not think that they are 100% twins by any means. So the next pair of doppelgangers that I found on the internet is Weird Al and Kenny G. Now, they just kind of have the same hair, but they do have very similar features, but they're not exact. So this one to me is also probably just a coincidence, and they're both musicians, but they do look very similar, and honestly, it's just gotta be that hair. They both have the same hairstyle, and I'm curious to know who had it first, because someone obviously copied someone else. Now we're starting to get in to celebrities that actually really do kind of look alike, at least to me, and at least to some other people on the internet where I found these photos. And I'm going to be showing you guys a picture of Steve Buscemi, my king. I love him so much. And Bill Skarsgård, my other king as well. I love them both, but for completely different reasons. Steve Buscemi is like your crazy homeless drunk uncle that always comes packed with a bunch of really corny jokes and makes weird noises all the time and has food on his face. But he's funny and cool, so I love him. And for Bill, I think that's self-explanatory. Let's be honest here. But to me, both of them look exactly alike. Now, this photo of Steve Buscemi is from when he is a lot younger. He's probably around Bill's age, and Bill is 27 right now, so I'm sure Steve Buscemi was maybe anywhere from 26 to like 29 when this was taken. But their facial features are really, really similar, and they draw a really eerie resemblance, in my opinion. Now, I thought this immediately as soon as I saw Bill for the first time. I was like, dude, that's Steve Buscemi, but like his way younger, more attractive son. And upon researching pictures for this video, I was very pleased to find that other people also draw that resemblance and think that they look alike as well. And they both seem to play the main character in a lot of shows and movies and whatnot, but they're always kind of the darker character, if you will. They always have something going on, something angsty. Typically they'll have anger issues in the movie or show that they might be in. So they seem to play pretty similar roles as well. And I've noticed that they both seem to have some kind of Boston accent going on. Now I know that Bill is from Sweden, so I don't know if that's just his Swedish accent, or I don't know if he's just doing a part. But Steve Buscemi has a little bit of a Boston thing happening there, and it seems like Bill might be following in his footsteps. So the next resemblance that I have here is Bob Saget and Stephen Colbert. I know, Danny Tanner and Stephen Colbert, but if you think about it and you really look at them, they do kind of have a similar look. Now, I don't think that they look nearly as similar as Steve Buscemi and Bill Skarsgård, but I think that they do look pretty similar, and they both seem to be controversial comedians that have a lot of social commentary that people feel some type of way about, so they both seem to do similar things in the industry. Next up, we have Aaron Paul and Tom Felton. Now, I didn't really realize this connection until I saw them actually next to each other, and they look so similar, it's crazy. And they also both play very angsty characters that usually have a dark secret going on, and they just play very similar characters as well. Back full circle to Keanu Reeves again, a lot of people have noted how he looks like Adam Driver, aka Kylo Ren, and to me they look exactly alike. Kylo Ren looks a little bit more beat up than Keanu Reeves, but I think that was the point. I think he's supposed to look pretty beat up in the Star Wars movies, but they look extremely similar to me, and it's a very eerie sight to look at. I wanted to save the best for last, in my opinion, because she has a lot of celebrities and people that are very well known that look like her. And I am talking about the oh so beautiful Miss Katy Perry. Now, everyone knows that Katy Perry looks exactly like Zooey Deschanel. They're practically twins, okay? I've thought this from the moment I saw Zooey Deschanel. I've always been so confused by it too. They literally look exactly alike. They don't even look like sisters, they look like twins. A lot of people know that Zooey Deschanel looks exactly like Katy Perry or vice versa, but only fans of a British show called Skins would know that Katy Perry also happens to look like an actress from the show named Siobhan Morris. And the first time I watched Skins, I was pretty familiar with Katy Perry, but she was just starting to really come up in the music industry, but I was familiar with her face. So when I saw Siobhan Morris on Skins, I legit thought it was Katy Perry. And I got excited because I was like, Katy Perry's in this show. But girl, that ain't Katy Perry. That's Katy Perry's doppelganger, Siobhan Morris. Katy Perry, Zooey Deschanel, and Siobhan Morris all share a very similar character that they play. Now, granted, Katy Perry isn't really an actress. She's been in a few shows here and there, but she's more so of a singer. But Zooey Deschanel and Siobhan Morris are both actresses, but they all seem to share the traits where they act a little bit ditzier. They're definitely the pretty girl of the group. They're a little bit more sexualized than other people that might be in the show, and they seem to always get the guy. Even with Katy Perry and with her music and with all her boyfriends, she seems to always get the guy. So all three of the girls share a pretty uncanny resemblance as well as a pretty uncanny spot in the film and music industry. I was just about to close out this video, but thank goodness I remembered literally the most important and the most exciting and the most interesting celebrity doppelganger of all of them. And brace yourselves because this one is going to be pretty strange. So we all know Taylor Swift. She's an extremely popular country music star turned pop singer, and everyone knows her. A bunch of people love her. She's extremely famous, but a lot of people don't know that the high priestess of Satanism, Zena Shrek, literally looks exactly like Taylor Swift. Like, that is literally Taylor Swift. I don't know who did it. I don't know what cloning facility they went to, but that looks just like Taylor Swift. And don't get me wrong, both girls are beautiful, but they look exactly alike. And granted, Xena looked like her back in the 70s and 80s, but you can't tell me someone didn't take Xena Shrek's DNA and give it to Taylor Swift's mother to essentially create a second Xena Shrek, because Taylor Swift literally is that woman. You cannot convince me otherwise because they look exactly alike. Their facial features are perfectly alike, and it's pretty creepy if you ask me. A lot of internet theories have drawn conclusions as well to some symbolism and some weird mannerisms that Taylor Swift does that might connect her to the Church of Satanism. I'm not saying that's true, okay? Taylor Swift is probably totally unbothered and unfazed by any of this and just lives her life day to day like an average girl. Well, an average, really famous, multimillionaire pop star singer girl, but you get what I'm saying. I don't think that she's involved with Satanism. Do I really not think that though? Because I definitely hesitated. Honestly, it's hard to deny the resemblance, but is it probable that Taylor Swift is a clone of Xena Shrek, the priestess of Satanism? Probably not, but I said probably for a reason. I don't rule anything out. But with that, guys, that is going to be wrapping up this week's Spooky Sunday. This was a long one. Typically, I keep my Spooky Sundays a lot shorter, but I wanted to give you guys a really interesting one because I think this one is just fun and cool, and it's interesting to see people who lived in a previous time period who actually really look like these celebrities. But who really knows? Maybe they are really time traveling, or maybe it's just as simple as that the universe has just run out of faces and has to recycle them every so often. I remember when I was little, my mom would always tell me that apparently everyone has their own twin or someone who just looks like them, and supposedly she met hers. So maybe that's what's going on here. And as far as the celebrity doppelganger situation goes, I think it's interesting that all these celebrities look alike, but do I really think anything's going on? Probably not. There's that word again. Probably. I always keep my mind open to this kind of stuff. I do hope that you consider subscribing if you have not already. I am doing Spooky Saturday or Spooky Sunday every single week, and if you are into makeup, I have all sorts of makeup goodness happening here on this channel during the week as well. So I do hope that you hit that button down below. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day wherever you are, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye!